Do you remember this guy? People barely remember him, and the people who do always have a negative view on him. And I'm not innocent of this as well, mainly to do with the stigma of his launch and his horrible first ability, resembling Inaros' third ability, marking him as a lazy Warframe concept that was just rushed out along with New War. So, what garnered my attention for this Warframe? Well, you see, I just released a top 5 worst Warframe video, and in those comments, I was actually surprised to find that a lot of people were asking about Caliban, that he should have been in that video. But in those comments, they never really mentioned why, and a couple of them just forgot he existed. So I'm here to show you that unlike those Warframes in that list, that Caliban has a decent kit, minus a couple of clunkiness and of course his first ability. But there are a lot of good Warframes that have that one horrible ability, you know, like Wisp and Revenant. Oh, yeah, we don't talk about those two abilities. What's good, folks? It's Nightmare Frame here with a new Warframe video, coming at you with a Caliban build video after a really long time. So what's unique about this particular Caliban video? All that happened was that shield gating got a little tweak, shields got a little buff, and this Warframe became a lot easier and comfortable to use. And I did demonstrate it on my stream the other day. By the way, you should go come on over. And don't be surprised if there's no Warframe on that stream that day, because guess what? People play other games. But before we showcase the build, let me just run down his abilities real quick, minus his first one, because
why does that even exist?
Starting off with his second ability, Sentient Wrath. Caliban stomps the ground, sends out a wave that knocks up enemies, but also has them take more damage. It's a damage vulnerability ability. Third ability is summons 3 sentients that replenish his shields over time, but have really stupid AI, because I don't know why companions have really dumb AI. But the only good thing is that they regenerate your shields, and this regeneration only works if Caliban has shields. So if he loses his shields, they do not give you any shields. So you just have to gain a little bit of shields and then they boost your shields, taking you into overshield territory. And finally, his fourth ability, Fusion Strike. He sends out 2 beams that converge into 1 point, dealing damage as they get closer. And once his ability is done, it creates a ring. And within this ring, everything gets their defenses stripped. That means their shields and armor. And this defense strip is permanent.
Nani?
So you can cast it in several different areas and have a decent armor strip. And you need 200% strength to get a full defense strip. Now, you heard me say clunkiness. What exactly makes him clunky to use? It's his animations. I don't know why DE likes to give Warframes horrible animations, like Necros, Mirage, but yeah, these are his main problems. Horrible first ability and horrible animations. Otherwise, a decent Warframe. Also, I forgot to mention that his passive gives everybody with an affinity radius a free adaptation. Now, of course, his first ability is bad, so what did I use to replace it? Simple. Condemn. When our shields break, we want to instantly replenish those shields, and Condemn is perfect for that. And it's a free crowd control. You can also use Pillage if you want. However, Pillage doesn't replenish your shields if enemies are armor stripped. So that's why Condemn was a good choice. On top of Condemn, we also have our Sentinel with the mod Guardian to replenish our shields. But Guardian does go on a cooldown, so Condemn is really nice and consistent. Okay, here we are in Steel Paths just to showcase how this build actually works. Now remember, you need 200% strength to get a full strip. But the cool thing is, you can use the Aura Corrosive Projection, and that reduces the 200% requirement down to 168. But you also have noticed that we have our Cordon here. His name is not Nautilus, it's Cordon, because that's what he's used for. He's going to be here for some
radial suck.
Yes, the fourth ability does drag in enemies, but if enemies are outside of the ring, they don't get armor strip. So it's just really nice to have this around, so we don't have to run everywhere looking for enemies and recasting our fourth ability. The focus school is, of course, Maturai. Why Maturai? Because with 2 Void Slings, we get additional strength, and that strength is going to snapshot to all of our abilities. And when we transfer it back in to our Warframe, we get some additional casting speed. And I already have 2 Amber Shards equipped on this Warframe. With Maturai, I get a total of 100% casting speed, which removes the annoying animation on his fourth ability, making him so fluid to use. Okay, now we're gonna look for some victims. I perform 2 Void Slings, and that will give me the bonus strength, cast 3 of my Sentients, armor strip, and just kill everything in sight. Notice that this is a DOT build, meaning my main DPS weapon is not modded for raw crits, but status effects, scaling status effects. And this build uses quadratic scaling DOTs. And that's with gas and electric. The more enemies they are, the more damage it deals, because each enemy will spawn their own gas clouds. So right now, Armor Strip and any enemy that comes in will just die. Make sure to cast my second ability, Sentient Wrath, to debuff high value targets, like the Xmas units, Acolytes, and even the Thrax units. And any enemy who just walks into these clouds will instantly start taking damage and die. Look at how fast these enemies die. As soon as they walk, because as soon as they walk in, they're already taking damage. This guy's dead. These guys are dead without even me touching them. And look how the cordon is pulling everybody in. Xmas unit, use my Sentient Wrath, debuff them, and I'll use the primary fire of my Bubonico to get rid of that overguard. It's so damn easy and clean to wipe up hordes of enemies with this loadout. Now let's just sit back, see how fast they die. It's pretty good. I'm even forgetting to cast my my sentient ability, because the build is quite tanky, as you can see. And pay attention to the life support. It's always topped up, because the KPM is really damn good. This build reaches around 100 to 110 KPM. Of course, that depends on the tile set. Can't wait for the Acolyte to spawn and destroy them. Even Violence, because that guy is not ready for Caliban. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Acolyte spawned quite early.
Oh, hi, Mark.
It's Violence, actually. Yeah. Oh, it's going on. This is so stupid. This is so stupid. All right, now that you've seen that showcase in Steel Path, let's take a look at how I've built Caliban. Starting off with the Archon Shards. As you can see here, I have 2 Amber Shards for that casting speed. Pairing that up with Madurai boosts that casting speed even more. And 3 Talforge Blues for the energy, because then I'm able to replace the energy mod on my Warframe build. So let's take a look at that Warframe build. In the aura, I have Growing Power for the 25% strength increase when I proc a status effect, and we're proccing a lot of that. And I will add Transit Fortitude and Umbral Intensify, paired up with Molt Augmented and my Madurai strength increase. All of this is to boost the shield regen on my lethal progeny and the damage vulnerability on Sentient Wrath. Because remember, you only need 200% strength for Fusion Strike. And of course, the bonus shields that you get from Condemn, also skills of strength. Range is also crucial here with Stretch and Overextended. If I could add more range, I would. This increases Fusion Strike radius to 23 meters. And notice, my duration is at 156% with Prime Continuity and Constitution. This build does require strength and a lot of duration. I was using multi-efficiency earlier, but I said, you know what, for more defenses, I could run Arcane Aegis. But if you don't mind, you could also replace Arcane Aegis for multi-efficiency, which I did try and use, and it was still very good. But Aegis is just there for people who are just a bit careless. Equilibrium is going to convert my orb pickups into when I need the most. So when I pick up health orbs, I get energy, and energy to health. But this is mainly here for the energy. Looking at my DPS weapon, the Bubonico. I'll be primarily using the alternate fire on my Bubonico. The alternate fire deals AoE viral, and since it already has viral, I can mod with other elements. So I went with gas and electric. So I'm priming and dealing damage at the same time. Let's take a look at the Bubonico build. For the base damage, I have Primary Merciless. Since I have all that base damage coming from this arcane, I can multiply the damage my weapon and DOT deals thanks to the faction damage multiplier. And my DOTs are going to be gas and electric. Gas damage and its damage over time are 2 different things. The direct gas hit does scale with the elemental mods, but the DOTs do not. So that's why I went with the 360/60s. This gives me a 159% status chance, which is pretty good. Pair that up with a Lingering Torment for the status duration, so my clouds remain there just a bit longer. And finally, primed ammo stock for that additional magazine, so I can blow my load a lot frequently. Unfortunately, when the Acolyte spawns, the Bubonico cannot get rid of it really fast, so that's why I'm using my secondary weapon, the 1 Pump Chump, which is the Spore Lacera kit gun. built from the Haymaker Grip and Splat Loader. This is modded for raw damage. Base damage is coming from Hornet Strike. You have your crit chance, crit damage, additional multi-shot, and fire rate, along with viral damage. You don't need to run faction damage mods because you're not dealing with any of the enemies but the Acolytes. Packs charge here, so I don't have to worry about ammo at all. And moving on to our Sentinel, which is the Cordon. Taking a look at the Cordon build. It's going to start off with Guardian. This is for some additional shield regen if they break, so it's an instantaneous break. And we can also follow up with our Condemn if we're getting consistently shredded, because I did encounter that quite a lot, especially when you're surrounded by Thrax and Xmas units. And of course, we have Cordon for the Radial Suck. Assault mode, just to have it attack for some additional priming, because I'm going to be using Synth Deconstruct. Enemies injured by the companions will have additional health orb drops. And this is going to be pairing really well with Equilibrium. So additional health orb will give me a nice influx of energy. Shield Charger. This increases my shields and regenerates them at the same time. Manifold Bond, don't forget this, because killing enemies with 3 or more status effects will reduce the cooldown. And what are we doing? Gas, electric, viral, and the Sentinel's damage. And finally, Mystic Bond. This will give me a nice, juicy free cast after every 5 skills used by my Cordon. Taking a look at the weapon that Cordon uses, it's the Hellstrom, modded for Radiation and Toxin. Radiation is going to be so useful against Ancient Healers, and we don't like those guys. And it's additional crowd control. So what have we learned today? 1. People still cope with Ureli more than Inaros. 2. Caliban is so versatile now thanks to the companion reworks and the shield changes, making him a solid comfort pick for Steel Path. 3. He's probably still going to be forgotten. I would love it if DE just tweaked his animations and of course replaced that horrible first ability. Increase the max targets of Sentient Wrath. Alright folks, that has been it from me. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please feel free to leave a like, share, and
subscribe
for more Warframe content, streams, and so much more. Do refer to the description. Thanks for watching, and as always,
Uppy.
bye-bye now. Bye-bye.